people of the internet? Welcome back to another video. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, folks. Got a video pulled up here. Comes from a channel on YouTube called WJZ, which is CBS News out in Baltimore, in which they discuss in further detail President Donald Trump and his disapproval of the whole Iran and Israel debacle. Trump, as at the time of recording this video, announced that there would be a ceasefire. That was just yesterday. Israel and Iran seemed to, under Trump's impression, agreed to that ceasefire, but yet bombings still proceeded. I want to watch this clip, get a little bit more insight. Of course, I'll share my thoughts. I encourage you guys to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let's get into it.
Well, a frustrated President Trump lashes out at Israel and Iran, accusing both of violating the ceasefire he brokered just hours ago. Natalie Brand reports for WJZ. Despite Israel's morning strikes on Iran, the president insists the agreement to stop fighting remains in effect.
After announcing a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, President Trump used colorful language to express his frustration the two sides weren't following it.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
The president warning Israel not to drop any more bombs.
As soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel.
Ahead of the ceasefire,
there are some attacks right now. We can hear them.
Israeli defense forces say they struck targets in Tehran, killing hundreds of security forces. Iran then fired back with missile strikes that killed 4 citizens in Beersheba.
After speaking with reporters and taking off from the White House, President Trump called Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and then posted on social media, Israel is not going to attack Iran. The ceasefire is in effect.
I wouldn't be prepared to write this truce off just yet.
Retired General Frank McKenzie, the former head of Central Command, said the U.S. is working to learn more about the impact of its weekend airstrikes on Iran's nuclear program.
We'll know in the days and weeks ahead if the Iranians were able to evacuate material before the strike.
Despite the ceasefire, troops in the region are still on alert. This morning, the U.S. aircraft carrier, the Gerald Ford, left Virginia on a scheduled deployment to the Mediterranean, becoming the 3rd carrier group in the region. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
There you heard it, folks. Trump used colorful words to describe his disapproval between this whole ceasefire, or lack thereof, between Iran and Israel. A couple things kind of jump out to me, folks, man. As I've told you guys multiple times on this platform, when it comes to like presidency and politics and this, that, and the other, I'm under the impression that it's all satire. Now, some of you guys will say, oh, nah, but people are dying, bro. There's a war going on, bro. Can't you see? When you got Trump speaking the way he speaks, and some people will say, oh, nah, that's just Trump, man. Of course, he always talks like that, man. It's hard for me to take it seriously. It's hard to take maybe Trump seriously or certain situations seriously when Trump seems to be a guy, and we know him to be a guy of comedy and satire. Is that how a president talks? Hey, maybe people will say times are changing. People will say, hey, man, times are changing, bro. Back in my day, when you heard a president, you usually associated a president with prestige and some class and some decency, right? He was, he could be a funny, charismatic guy, but for the most part, when you hear a U.S. president, for the most part, you usually associate that with a certain type of character, right? That is well conducted, isn't belligerent, isn't, whatever the case is. Then you have Donald Trump. Then you got a guy like Donald Trump, who seems to be a president of his own lane.
Countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
The president warning
That's our president. And when I say, and again, I've said this a million times before as well too, I don't hate Donald Trump. I don't really like Donald Trump. I take him at face value. He's a social media funny guy to me. So of course I chuckle when I see things like that. That's funny to me. But it also ties into the fact of me saying that I don't take things seriously. I don't take that seriously when you see a president acting the way that Trump acts. It's just like, you seem to be an entertainer. But of course, these are serious matters. Of course, people will say, yeah, bombs are being exploded, missiles are being sent. Of course, at the time of recording this video, the United States have inserted itself in this whole war. People are calling it World War III between Iran and Israel. This past weekend, of course, what was it, Saturday? Donald Trump said that U.S. bombed a few sites over in Iran, and which has now officially involved us in this whole war. A lot of people that I'm seeing are in disapproval of that, saying that it was something that is outside of our control. We should leave alone. Of course, we have ties and this, that, and the other, whatever the case is, whatever the true reasons are. Because sometimes, folks, as I always said before as well, too, I always feel like these people are going to do what they want to do, and then us, the civilians and the regular guys, we just got to deal with the outcome, right? All in all, folks, war isn't good. It's just my takeaway. We all know war, when innocent lives are at stake, and, you know, there's rises in oil prices, and people are, you know, being warned about safety measures that need to be taken when traveling. And, you know, major cities, of course, are on high alert. New York, LA, Washington, D.C., in fear of retaliation attacks. Who wins in a war? Who wins? Who's the victor? Who comes out on top? It's damn sure not us, the little guys, the small civilians who are already, you know, trying to just go about our day-to-day lives and, you know, keep a roof over our head, food in our stomachs. I think we get the short end of the stick in all of these circumstances when we're talking about wars that some people feel like are in or outside of our control. And again, folks, when it comes to President Donald Trump, who is the current U.S. president of the United States, I don't know if his rhetoric, I don't know if how he carries himself, his comical, satirical nature is who we want steering the ship. As I've said before as well, too, I use the analogy of the Titanic. I said that I feel like the United States is Titanic, and we've already hit the iceberg. And yeah, we're probably still afloat for now. We haven't started sinking underwater yet, but the iceberg's been hit, and we all know that we're in some type of trouble. So my advice, get your affairs in order. Find your life rafts. Find your little small boats that you can maybe use to board off of this gigantic ship, whatever that might mean to you, whatever that might look like to you as well. I don't know, folks. I'm just not at ease. I feel like that's the current sentiment of a lot of U.S. citizens here in the United States of America. I don't know too many of us who are at ease with the current state of our world and our society at this current moment. So take things one day at a time, folks. As I always like to tell you guys, man, hey, the things that are in your control, try to control the things that are in your control. The things that are outside of your control, pray for guidance and protection from a higher power. Is at least what I'm doing. And see to it that you are staying focused and putting your priorities in line, because none of us know what we could wake up to each day when we wake up and get on our phones, turn on the news. Who knows what's yet to unfold within this new presidency of Donald Trump, within this new regime, within this new society that's been building slowly but surely. But those are just my thoughts. Of course, I encourage you to share yours down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I will catch you guys on the next one.